Hey screen printers, in this instructional video we're going to show you how to do wet-on-wet screen printing on lighter garments. Now a lot of people flash between every color, and typically when you're going on darker garments, whenever your ink is touching or being printed on top of each other, you definitely want to flash. It makes life a lot easier. But a lot of times you can get away with doing things wet on wet, and when you do things wet on wet, it makes life so much faster because you don't have to worry about a flash. Your palettes stay cooler and it speeds up your production tremendously. So the keys to wet on wet printing is first, make sure that you're going on lighter garments or you don't need really bright prints. So we either are using reduced down inks or thinner water-based inks. This ink, for instance, is a Ryonet ink, but it has about 20% curable reducer already added into it. Now, because we're using reduced inks, we do want to use higher mesh screens. So we're using 230 mesh screens for this job. You can also use 280 or even 305 depending on how soft or how small amount of ink you want to deposit on the shirt. Once again, the key is lighter garment if you want that ink to show up bright, or if you want a distressed look, darker garments are fine as well. We're also using a black matter, which is already reduced down in thin plastisol ink, great for this wet on wet style of printing, and a custom gray, which has some white, meteor white mixed into the black matter. So these are both very creamy inks already, so we don't need to reduce either of those inks. Now, when we're printing wet on wet, we want to start from the smallest part of the garment or the smallest part of the design to the largest or the lightest part of the ink to the darkest. So for this job, we're going to be doing green, black, and gray. So this job is going to be set up where we're going to print the green first because it's the lightest. We're going to print the black because it is smaller than the gray. Now the black, because it's smaller than the gray, will actually transfer less to the gray. So we're kind of using both theories. Every design is a little different, so sometimes you're actually going to be printing the lightest color to the darkest, and sometimes you're going to be printing the biggest part of the design last and the smallest part of the design first. Now, I also like to push when I'm doing wet on wet printing. I find that it just makes life a little bit easier than pulling. So we're going to flood up and we're going to push back. Flood up, push back. Now, if you have proper off contact, a lot of times you can flood in the down position there. We got the black now. Flood up, push back. Flood up, push back. Nice halftones in this design. Looks very good. And then we have our final gray. Now you notice, because these inks are so thick, things go very fast. There's our final design, all wet on wet. Now you notice things went a lot faster than if we had to flash between the colors, and the colors look great and will feel great on the shirt. So your customer will come out with a better result and it will save you time and money because you're printing through higher mesh with reduced inks. You'll notice here that the inks will start to transfer on the back of the screen. So you'll see some green on that screen. You'll actually see some green and some black on this screen. That's okay, once again, because we're using high mesh and reduced inks, which avoids the buildup of thick inks. If you thought this video was helpful, check out more awesome screen printing videos available on our YouTube channel. Thanks a lot for watching, and be sure to subscribe.